Y'all come on in the building. We can get started here. What's up, brother Krishna? Wait on a couple more people to get in. Oh shit! Come on, man. I'm driving ass. I want to tell y'all about something interesting that happened yesterday. Um, right on. Yeah, I hear that. I need to I need to come down 45, man. Uh, Something very interesting happened the other day. I've been trying to wait and let a couple more people get on. Uh, but I'm also trying to use my time wisely. I've been on this thing of which I'm gonna do a discussion on this of the significance Toronto in this. Oh damn! What's up, Marcus? I didn't know you was from Toronto, brother. Like, god damn, we got goddamn Winnipeg up in this motherfucker. All right. Shout out to Toronto. Uh, I've been on this thing for the past, I guess, couple of weeks about Trump's wall, and really dealing on what's the significance of that, because I know there's much more to it than. All right, trying to get back live. All right, all right. Are we back? What's up, Karen? Las Vegas. All right. We got Vegas. We got Houston, Texas. We got Toronto. We got half the people done dropped off. Well, it's all good. Hopefully y'all can hear me again. I went through that dead zone. All right, so okay, I think we're live again. They want to come test me now. All the fuckery with my live stream. What the bumbleclad. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, so I've been working on that whole wall thing. That's going to be a presentation by itself. And in the midst of just looking at some stuff, I kind of got off on another little tangent and went back and revisited an old book that I've talked about called The Atomic Christ. And while I'm reading this book, it's by William Henry. This book right here, which you can't find many of these things anymore. It's funny. But he, in this book, on page 20, he says something about, he cites a book called Bloodline of the Holy Grail by Sir Lawrence Gardner. Now, if you don't know who Lawrence Gardner is or know about his work, he does some pretty dynamic, he produces or has produced, I don't know if he's even still living, he's produced some pretty dynamic and simple historical / metaphysical books. He's got Bloodline of the Holy Grail. I can't remember. I got 2 more of his books at home. The Grail Quest, I think there's one, and there's another one. But he's got several books. Everything I've read of his is some good stuff. He he packs a lot of information in his books. Normally it's going to be at least close to 400 pages. No fluff. So William Henry, in this book Atomic Christ, cites Lawrence Gardner in his book The Bloodline of the Holy Grail. And what caught my eye was he said that in the Essene or Dead Sea Scrolls, the part that's dealing with the Essenes, which is a Gnostic sect, it talks about how they say in the end time a light will shine in Marika. Now, we know Marika, that's America or America. And we know the root is Mary or more, same difference. And we know there's a million different variations of this same concept. The concept of Mary, the more, the mare, the myrrh, all coming back to the same thing. Now, I so happen to have, like I said, that book, Bloodline of the Holy Grail. And the reason I titled this, How to Do Research to Get to the Truth, is that these people play games. Everybody's playing a game. Publishing houses will put out certain information for so long, and either they'll get bought out by another publisher, or the agenda gets changed. Maybe the information got leaked to the wrong people, and the book needs to go underground. Somebody else buy it out. The book is discontinued, not printed no more, or information has changed. Now we've heard, those of us who follow the work of Bobby Hemmitt, we've got it documented with him talking about this maybe 20 years ago. So sometimes it's just kind of jaw-dropping when you really see, it's one thing to hear somebody talk about, but to really experience it, it's something else. Okay, baby. Now, what I didn't know is that this book, Bloodline of the Holy Grail, has gone through, it's on its 2nd publishing house. Now, I used to wonder why when I would go and have price books, this book could be everywhere. I mean, they have tons. Oh, shit. We might have to. Little mama say this might get cut short. There would be tons of these books in the bookstore. Okay? me show you something. The book that I had bought, Bloodline of the Holy Grail. See? Okay. You know, I hadn't read the book yet until I went searching for this. What's up, Lakeo? I hadn't read this yet until I had searched for the sighting from the William Henry book. First thing I noticed when I crack open a book like it's Barnes and Noble Publishing, and I'm already, my spidey sense is going off. Barnes and Noble's Publishing. Now, you got to understand how many bookstores, big bookstores, we've seen go out of business. Border Books, Tower, I can't think of all the other different bookstores, you know, the larger ones. But Border was the main one, you know, that was comparable to Barnes and Noble. Ain't it funny that Barnes and Noble is the only one standing out of all this calamity? So Barnes and Noble is nothing but a fluff, a shell, a cover-up. They don't carry nothing but junk in Barnes and Noble. Pure junk. If you want to find real diamonds in the rough, you go to used bookstores. You ain't gonna find no good books in the metaphysical stores. Garbage. You know, you might find something here and there, but it's gonna be overpriced, and it's gonna be in one basic, you know, they don't want you. Oh, no. You go to that Goodwill. Yes, my dear. You go to that Goodwill in South. That's where you want to go. Places like that. Places where your fingernails gonna get dirty. That's where you can stumble up and find something. Company I used to work for sent me to Phoenix, Arizona 3 years ago for some training for 10 days. Everybody else wanted to go out and get drunk every night and this and that, and I found how to get how far the bus line would go from Phoenix into Scottsdale, and the rest of the way I walked to where I wanted to go to, and I found me a Goodwill in Scottsdale, Arizona, and that was the baddest Goodwill I've ever been in. I found two expensive a 2-volume set of dictionaries. I found a book, Medieval Callings. I found a book on Christian symbolism. Badass book haul. I found all these used bookstores down there in Phoenix. Well, the Goodwill is gonna be cheap for the most part in Salvation Army. Some of these used bookstores, you might have to pay a little bit, but you know, it's worth it to get what you hunting for. Because even if you just want to look at it from an investment standpoint, I'm telling you, if you invest in some books, that's almost comparable to having gold. You just wait. You mark my words. You mark my words. Although I'm not looking to sell my stuff, but you know, those are going to be very valuable because they're going to be very scarce. They're already becoming scarce. It's just that the vast majority of the population could care less because they don't read. So those books are disappearing. So Barnes and Noble is a joke. So what I discovered was, there you go, Book of Eli, that's right. What I discovered was, when I went hunting for the page that the man had cited with the word Marika, nowhere to be found. Nowhere on page 33 did I find Marika. So now I'm going to hunt. I'm like, okay, I think something's rotten in the cotton. So I find out that the book I had a publishing copyright date of 2003. And the version that he cited was 1996. So guess what I did last night? Last night, I go get on the phone, calling around the Metroplex to have price books, and found one in Fort Worth. So 8 o'clock, I load up the family. We go riding out to Southwest Fort Worth. Good 25-minute drive, and go and get the 1996 version of this book. Now what happened was they took about, look at the difference in the thickness. See that? This is 1996, 2003. This is Barnes & Noble. This is Element Books, the original publisher. You see on the thing there, you can see Element Books. Sunlight. So what happened was I go in the store, get the book. They had held it for me. I go in there and look, and this book, it still ain't on page 33. So you know, I'm hot as fist grease. I done packed everybody up. We done drove all the way to the other side of Fort Worth to get this book. But I said, you know what, that's fine, because I'm on the hunt now, because I know something's going on. So then I come back to this guy. I say, he's bullshitting. He purposely, we got to understand, a lot of these guys who write these books, they got like a little network, okay? So they working together. So this guy, I believe, he put out a ghost. You know what a ghost is. You know, you send somebody looking for something that ain't there. Then I kept thinking, and I was reading something else, and I stumbled across Francis Bacon. And we know the whole thing of Francis Bacon, you know, being a part of a group that went under the name of Shakespeare. So I said, okay, hold on. Francis Bacon was a Rosicrucian, and they were well known for using ciphers. You know, the Bible is a whole bunch of ciphers, okay? Just like you got Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. That's a cipher. You take those five books, and the first letters form an acronym that gives you a code. The 5 books come out to knowledge. Numbers is an N. Leviticus L. Exodus E. Deuteronomy D. Genesis G. Knowledge. So they put codes. All you gotta do is sit and look at them long enough, and if you are hungry enough, they'll jump out at and they'll talk to you and show themselves. They want attention just like anything else. Just like these gods, these entities. When you recognize them, they recognize you. Well, it's because everything in the universe wants attention. Now that's a common denominator. So when you're willing to give it the attention that it deserves and wants, then it works for you. So I kept looking at that thing and I thought, oh, this bastard is playing games. He's playing games. Now, because I'm driving, I can't show you all this stuff, but you got to envision this. Merika is Merika, or in some other spellings, Merika. Now, it's supposed to coincide with Venus, and it's the star that appears in the west. So this is where your other training in symbolism and in word ciphering and anagrammatic spelling, all of this comes into play. So now I'm like, okay, this is gonna be some Sherlock Holmes shit. So I remembered that And see, that's how I be getting blessed with stuff. People send me stuff. Some stuff I stumble across, some stuff people just send me, and I just sit on it until I need it. My cousin had sent me this article like last year about them growing. Look at this. Human pig hybrid created in the lab. I'm reading backwards, so I'm having trouble. In the lab. Human pig hybrid created in the lab. Okay? So I remember that he had sent me this and the name popped up in my head. Look what it's called. They're building a chimera. Now, if you know about vowels, or if you don't know now, you know, vowels are interchangeable. And the CH sound can be pronounced as a K. The CH, the K, and the Q are interchangeable. K. So, chimera. Now, if you look at that and you understand anagrammatic spelling, then you can see where that's Marika turned around. So I was going looking for one thing, and I made a whole new different discovery. Well, it's something we know. Let's call it a confirmation. Yes, the light has to shine in the west. In the west. You got to know what the west coincides with on, let's just take on the human body. The west side of your body would be your back. The east side would be the front. You know, because, you know, you rise in the sun rises in the east, sun sets. Satan set in the west. So that's your spine. Now, the good brother, the master, Bobby Hemmitt, gave us master keys. Not for us to go back and try to regurgitate what he's already said, but for us to build upon it and conduct further investigations. He told us that over and over. Okay? So, one book he used to always talk about was Robert Graves' Greek Myths. Right here. Okay? Now, I go into Robert Graves' Greek Myths and I look up the chimera. He's got a lot of information on the chimera in here. Chimera is called a tripartite goddess because the chimera consists of a lion, a goat, and a snake. Now go back to your Bible, and especially your goat and your lion are considered to be, you know, associated with some form of evil. And in some regards, the lion may be associated. You know, Babylon would be associated with evil. We're talking about feminine energy, triple goddess. Okay, so now we're cooking with grease. So we go in there, and Brother Bobby always talked about something called echidna. Okay, this is where he got it from. Bellerophon. Now, see, even these names, you got to listen to the names. The names are, there you go, kidney. You got to listen to the names. Bell. Bell is pineal gland. When you see the Liberty Bell in classical Europe, or medieval Europe, I should say, your towns, the center of the town was something called the belfry. And that was a tower where you had the big bell. And the bell is what controls the inner workings of the city. People knew to move when the bell rang. That's why your children go to school and they're moved around by a bell. That comes from Europe, where the bell is supposed to simulate, it's supposed to mimic your master gland, because your pineal gland regulates inside of the body. All your hormones come down to the master, which is the pineal. That's the belfry tower inside of your body. So the bell is significant. So listen to the name, Bellerophon. Now phone then denotes sound, vibration. So Bellerophon is talking about something that gives off a vibration, some master gland or master mechanical feature that gives off a vibration that sends commands. So Bellerophon, son of Glaucus, eye, glaucoma, Glaucus, okay, and grandson of Sisyphus, having first killed one Balearus. All right. Let me get to where I can get to a red light. And we shall continue discovery here. You will be rewarded for your efforts. That's what I'm trying, basically what I'm trying to tell you. These are rewards for me. I get rewarded for shit, for my efforts. Okay? Which earned him his nickname Bellerophontus, shortened to Bellerophon. And then his own brother, whose name is usually given as Deliatus, he fled as a suppliant to Protus. Okay, this is too much of the damn backstory. Okay, Iobates, equally loath to ill-treat a royal guest as Bellerophon, to do him the service of destroying the Chimera. Chimera, a fire-breathing she-monster with lion's head, goat's body, and serpent's tail. She is, he explained, a daughter of Echidna. Bingo, Bobby. Chimera is a daughter of Echidna. So, if you go back and look at the old Bobby Hemmett tapes, let's say around, I got these things chronicalized in my head now. What's up, Dap? Let's see who else. What's up, Erica in the building? Let's say around like 2000, he really got hard on that kick about drinking water. You know, you got to drink the water. They're trying to shut down the kidneys. And we see, of course, how the dialysis centers are in every, every area where there's some type of melanin. You can find a dialysis center on every, every few blocks you can find one. Dialysis center, church, liquor store, Popeye's chicken. So what I deduced then from that is that, and we're gonna have to take a pause while I go on here and get my babies together. Pick my girls up real quick. But while y'all holding, let me leave you with this. Like Lakeo said, Echidna is referencing the kidneys. All right? I'll pick up right there. I'll come back. Hold on.
here first. Yes.
Come on, sit down.
Hello. Hello.
Okay. Girls, I gotta stop and get some air, okay? Y'all hungry? How did I know? All right, we're back. Mic check. 1, 2. Somebody give me a 1 if you can hear me. All right, there we go. Appreciate it. What's up, Maserati? Bet. Okay, so if they're describing the daughter of Echidna as basically a monster, okay, hold on. I'm turning back to it. Wait till I get to a stopping point so I can be a good, responsible driver. Um, but they're describing the daughter of Echidna as Chimera. Now just let's start piecing it together. Chimera coincides with Marika. It's an anagram of the name or the word Marika. All right. And let me pick up, where did I leave off? He explained, daughter of Echidna, whom my enemy, the king of Caria, has made a household pet. Hold on. I'm not going to be able to read this. You know, if I was 15,000 red lights, when I'm trying to stop, everything's a go. Murphy's Law. I'll cut to the chase. When they say that this light has to shine in the west, called Marika, and it denotes Armageddon, so to speak. We get clarity on what is really talking about. You say the anagram is America? Yeah, just spelling. Chimera. Don't get bogged down by the vowels. Listen more to the sounds of the consonants. You got a k, a m, and a r, and those can move all around. K, m, r. Chimera also can be Marika. All you gotta do is Marika, put a in the front. Marika, America. That's anagrammatic spelling. Okay. Now we know. Here's another clue that we're talking about something that deals with light, because what's something that we use all the time to capture light? Girls, you tell me. What we use, girls? It sounds like Chimera. No, not Kabbalah. You thinking CC? thinking too deep. But I'm impressed though that you even mentioning Kabbalah. Right. Camera. Camera. Right. And a camera captures light. So when they talk about this monster called Chimera, they're literally talking about what we always mention as Kundalini. So I'm gonna go on and give you a tidbit of the conversation on your dear president. What's the whole concept of the wall then? Because if Chimera contains light and captures it, and light coincides with fire, and that fire is coming out of the kidneys, and that coincides with Kundalini, as above, so below, as within, so without. That means if there's a Kundalini in you, then there's a Kundalini right here in the namesake of Chimera or Marika. Marika, Morocco. Look at all the things we can do with that. America, Mary, maritime, all talking about right here. So now you also understand what was the haste in Great Britain and Scotland getting over here to this land, to the so-called New World, because this stuff has been held and preserved in these texts for centuries. It has been known, these prophecies about this land right here, where the light would shine. The sun travels from the east to the west. It rises in the east, but it sets in the west. This is where the light has set. So for the sun to rise again, it must come out of the west before it can rise back up in the east. This is the place. So even though they sent me on a wild goose chase with this fake sighting that this guy put in his book, I had to take over and utilize, like somebody said, I think Marcus or somebody said, use my brain. This is what I'm trying to express about research. You don't have to go to college to learn how to research, because what you say? So no, yeah, there's a page 33 in the book, but what he cited is not on that. There's nothing about the Essenes on page 33, and there's nothing about Marika. I got the 2003 copyright, and I got the 1996 copyright. Nothing. But these guys are writing in code too. So it's for who can get it and then know how to break the cipher. See, the cipher, everything is coded. Everything. That's how this stuff was preserved, for us to be able to deal with it now, is that it was kept hidden in these little chests, like the chest of Osiris. We're talking about all this stuff has been hidden in various chests, and we're unlocking them now. We got the keys. The keys are already with you, but like I said about everything in the cosmos wants to be recognized. Well, the keys will start unlocking doors for you when you show the interest that you want the doors unlocked. That's why it's very important that you got to really, you can't fake the funk. You got to really not be lazy. You got to really have a heart for wanting to know. You know, you can't just watch video, uh, and consider that to be the depth of your scholarship. And that includes me. It can't become one of those things where, well, Jamal said this, and well, if Jamal didn't say that, then I don't agree with it. What I value is, excuse me, what I value people who tell me where I can go and look for stuff. I will never worship a human being. And you know why I always mention Bobby Hemmett? Oh man, sorry girls. Y'all all right? Why I always mention Bobby Hemmett is because he always shared books. I don't, and the thing is, it gives you the power to go and learn for yourself. And do you know a lot of those books he recommended, I found stuff he never talked about? And that's no slight to him. That's the whole point. Do you know if you go and read, if you go on my website, there's a book list on the website. Don't you know if you go and get those books, you're going to find some stuff in them that I haven't found? It's impossible for me to read thousands of books. It's impossible to digest all of that information. So we need other people have to go out and be on. Do you know this is how the people who run the world, or who fashion themselves to run the world, do you know this is what some people go and make $200,000 a year just to do research? Why do you think when you turn on the History Channel, they have a person, PhD in mythology from the University of Oxford or some other British university, and you would think the audacity to come and say you got a PhD in mythology, in storytelling, in popcorn tales, because that's the way we've been conditioned to think of this stuff as poppycock, as hogposh. When they're dealing with the highest, they're dealing with magic. Mythology is the history of magic. So there's got to be some small group of us who get inspired enough to quietly be on the hunt. You know how much stuff I can get my hands on? Because one, look at me. Nobody looks at me and the first thing they think is, you sure do look like a smart guy. Nope. First thing they want to say, you play for the Cowboys? Who's your favorite football team? And that's a good cover. Because I go places, I find places you would never even probably know about right here in this Metroplex. And it's just about, as it says in the Bible, knocking, the door shall be open, seeking ye shall find. So when I'm seeking, stuff just falls in my lap. People send me stuff, I find stuff, and that's the reward. And my goal is to encourage you to be about your Father's business. That's what it's called, being about your Father's business, and not dwelling in, like as in the masculine, but Father is symbolic of your elder self, your grown folks business. Quietly going about your business, taking care of big time cosmic business. So I respect the fact that Brother Bobby always put out the books. That's my thing. I'm not taking nobody's word for nothing. You can't ear hustle me, and you can't gum bump me to death. That ain't gonna work with me. So, and I usually not respect. When I first heard Bobby Hemmitt talk, I said, because I was watching John Henry Clark and Dr. Ben stuff, and this chubby dude will keep popping up on the side of the recommended videos. Like, who is this big waterhead looking, Then one day I just clicked on it. I was like, but it's a big country, you know what? But Spirit told me keep listening, and I was convicted. I was humbled. The more I listened, I was humbled. So when you are going about this research, this is like, I used to read Encyclopedia Brown books when I was a little kid. That's why I get tickled, because my older daughter, she likes to read the Thea Stilton books, and it's like a similar to the Encyclopedia Brown, and it's good because it's teaching you problem solving, which is basic critical thinking. So you get all these books and things, a lot of this stuff is going to be a bunch of gibberish, and they're going to be pump faking, 52 fake outs, a bunch of stunting, fake sightings and things. But that's what it's called, cross-referencing. Well, it's not called, what I'm trying to say, that's why it's important to cross-reference everything. When they cite something, this man cited something in this book. I went to hunt for where he cited it. It was not there. So then I had to go, and I wasn't able to use conventional things. I had to use common sense, a little imagination, creativity, and then I get to the bottom of it. Because knowledge is power. And I'm telling you, the land we're standing on right now is the final showdown. America. This is it. This is it. And if I have time tonight, I might go on like 12 midnight tonight and do this thing on Donald Trump. I'm going to tell you what the wall is about. And this, because I got a big mouth. Because I got a big mouth, I got to go on and give you a little nugget. Do y'all want a little bit of nugget? Okay. I'm going to take you on memory lane. The year is 1987. I remember it like it was yesterday. Ronald Reagan gets up and he gives a speech. And now hold on. Let me take you further back. 1945, World War II was coming to a close. There you go. There you go, Erica. Exactly. That's why I be trying to tell everybody, your name has significance. Make no bones about it. Okay. After World War II, Germany is sectioned up. Okay. Basically, the West gets their portion of it. Russia gets the other half of it. Fast forward to the year 1987. Ronald Reagan gets up and gives this stirring speech. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was looking at ABC. I remember the network I saw it on. He says, in a particular part of the speech, one of his most defining moments, if you want to look at the fluff, that the people who love Darrell Roney like to talk about. Not about him flooding the ghetto with crack, him stopping Head Start, cutting off all the different programs where we flooded the streets with homeless population skyrockets under Ron. We ain't gonna talk about that. We're just gonna talk about Darrell Roney and Nancy, okay? He said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. I want you to think about that. Ronald Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. 30 years later, a man that runs on the same basic platform Donald comes in and says, we're going to build a wall. Now I want y'all to ponder on that. And when I tell you, I'm going to give you the business. Oh man. When I tell you it's heavy, Jack, it's heavy. Ronald says, I'm going to let's tear down the wall. Donald says, we're going to build a wall. Yes, indeed. Let's put it this way. He was the what's up, Wally, by the way? Ronald was let me put it in, let's put it in some Moorish vernacular. He was a declared actor. But we know all of them are actors. Nothing but Hollywood. Nothing but Hollywood. And let me give you one right here. I want you to chew on this. Whatever happens to the speech writers for the presidents, if you want to find out who is really a high-level elite shot caller, don't look at the president, look at his speechwriter. Think about that. You think about it. If you understand Masonic language, and I ain't no Mason, but I tell you what, I know when a light is attempted to be, when they're trying to shine a light. You ain't got to be no rocket scientist to pick this stuff apart. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. That's masonry, baby. That's masonry. So, Ronald McDonald, clown show. So, hopefully, I can go on tonight and we can hash this thing out. He did. I didn't know that. The president's writers, Tupac mentioned. Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah. These are the handlers, because they're crafting. They're basically Shakespearean writers. They're writing in code, and they're writing. The vast majority of the public ain't catching none of it. And I'm talking about white, black, purple, orange, ain't catching nothing. They're looking at the smoke screen. They ain't catching none of the science. So what else did I wanna? Anything else? But I want y'all to ponder on that wall thing. Curious what you what you uh, what you'll arrive at. But I tell you what, it's deep, and it still coincides with what we're talking about today about Marika. Everything's about right here in America. This is the place. It was predestined that it was all supposed to happen here. Everything, the great awakening, the great melting pot, all of that was supposed to go down right here in America. Uh, let's see. Anybody got any comments? Oh, let me go, Bobby, on you. Give me some questions. You see what I'm saying? Right. El Dorado. Right. Everything is here. So y'all stay tuned. Hopefully I can get on tonight and we can hash out this wall thing. And know about the jesters. The jesters Masons. No, I don't know. I never heard of that. Candace says, why now build the wall? I'll give you a hint. Because they said the end comes when the light shines in Marika. You gotta look at all the things going on. You got, I told you the other day about the bookstore shutting down. Now, has anybody been paying attention, or did anybody hear about the so-called shooting at the let me say it this way, the Tube of You? Maybe I can get past the robot that picks up when you say that. That's all connected. All connected. Oh man, it's raining. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I was gonna put some air in this tire, but we're gonna have to postpone that, girls. Huh? At home taking a nap. Yeah, the wall is, now just think about it. Think about it. Keep us updated about April. Oh yeah. I will. Now this, let me I gotta plug something. This is something I'm gonna ask. If you listen to the content and you enjoy the content on this channel, I simply ask that you share the videos. If you're not subscribed, subscribe so you can, and hit that bell so you'll know when something's gonna drop. And that's it. Organic growth. No GMO. That's why I don't have no what they call it, Facebook and all that. I don't know. It's just, I've had Facebook. But something just don't lead me to do that again. But let's see this. Chimera, fire breather, two heads, goat body, and snake. From the kidneys are the two ureters into bladder, and then out the snake tube. Right, right. Along those lines, whenever you see, uh, right, too many sleep to share. Facts. Like you say, this ain't this not a movement to get people to join the Glee Club. It's not a fantastic movement here. Get excited, come and join a group of critical thinkers, metaphysicians. But every now and then one of them wakes up, like they say in the movie Dark City. But one thing when you see in mythology, just something to leave you with, because they talk about how Bellerophon killed somebody, and that's how he took on that name of Bellerophon. Now, one thing to keep in mind whenever you see about murder and killing in mythology, don't think of things in human terms. You have to, that's why it's good to go, and that's why it's good to have some understanding of language, because murder, eat, and destroy all have the same meaning. So when you eat something, you are murdering it, you are destroying it. And all three of those come back to the word separate. So anytime you separate something, it's the equivalent of murder. Now we're not talking about in your normal day-to-day life. And girls, do y'all understand what I'm saying too? I'm not talking about go out here and kill somebody, okay? We're talking about what it really means from its origin, okay? So that means if you got a problem, what do you do if you got a problem? You have to what? What's another word for working it out? There you go, solve it. Do you know the word solve means separate? That's what you're doing. When you solve something, when you got a problem, your problem is this big mass of an issue right here. For me to get rid of this problem, what I got to do, I got to break it up. So when I solve it, I break up the problem. Okay? So when we see that in mythology, and they talk about somebody gets killed, and something, Bellerophon kills Bellerophus, and that's how he took on the name. What's up, Coach McGee? And he takes on the name Bellerophon. What it's saying is he took the essence of Bellerophontus, or whatever the name was, I can't remember, because he broke it up and released his essence, and then he took it in. So all they're saying is the one energy that has been broken up and then dissolved into something else. That's it. The hard part about mythology is to suspend your human thought or your understanding through a human lens so that you can see the greater mystery. Once you can subdue that aspect of yourself, then the true meaning of these stories, it's literally like if you watch that movie, the Lego movie, when Emmett finally becomes a master builder. One thing that was common with the master builders is when they were starting to build something, they saw all of the measurements in their mind. They could see all the calculations that they needed to make in their mind. What were they showing children? The power of the imagination, image nation. So you create and you see what's the greater mystery. So when you can suspend your normal uh, uh, intellectual mind when you're approaching this stuff and see it completely reversed, all of a sudden they come up off the page and you see a whole different reality. So I just want to make that quick point about, about when you see murder and something being, or even something being eaten. Same thing in mythology. So the wall ties into the whole thing with Tube of You, with the whole so-called shooting thing, because one, look at where it's at in California. California. And it came right off the heels of March, which was, wasn't March supposed to be Women's Month? Huh? March was Women's Month, wasn't it? All right. So you have to put all this stuff together. It happened the day before Martin Luther King's, the 50th anniversary of Martin Luther King's assassination. 2 years before Martin Luther King was assassinated, Margaret Sanger dies, 1966. Margaret Sanger is the modern, is the leader of the modern feminist movement. We'll say the first wave would be Susan B. Anthony and so forth in the late 1800s. But then you have Margaret Sanger. Now she's Planned Parenthood. She's eugenics. I remember I had a college professor who was a self-professed feminist. I remember asking her, I said, well, why is it none of y'all ever speak directly to the people you say you have a problem with? I said, why is it that black men always seem to get cloaked into your conversation? I said, when have I been able to deny you a job? That's a good point. Well, it's classism and da 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 da. March of Dimes, yeah. We need to look into that. March of Dimes, that's a good one. We know that's some type of hidden message in that. But I don't want to ramble. You got to hear this presentation on the wall. I'm gonna give you the business, and you're gonna go back and revisit different times in history. We're gonna go back to the 70s, the 80s, and you're gonna put this stuff together, and you're gonna see how a ritual gets laid out over decades. One thing you have to take your hat off to the astute planning of certain folks. When you talk about working with your handicaps, we got to understand that nobody has to do such manipulating if they're not working with a handicap. But there's a great power sometimes of understanding your handicap. Because if you know your handicap and you're aware of your deficiencies, you then know what your mission has to be all the time, 24/7. Whereas you could be given all the gifts, and y'all know, where I'm coming from. You can be given all the gifts And like the story of the talent, the man with the who buried his talents in the Bible, and you do nothing with them, and you wonder how can somebody with no gifts be in control, and somebody with all the gifts be under subjection. Things that make you go, I tell you. I hope I didn't lose my stream because my face is frozen on here. Can y'all hear me? Mic check. Mic check. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's cool. Video froze, but so we'll wrap it up there with that, and we'll come back and we'll talk about this wall. And as always, appreciate y'all tuning in. This is Brother Jamal signing out for the Robinson crew. Reminding y'all to stay down until you get up. When you get up, stay down. Peace.